Welcome back. City might be frauds after all. Let's get right into it. City, yesterday, Champions League, knockout round. The game is so important for this season, not only because they need to keep Champions League, but this is their home leg.
It's hard to talk about. It's very heartbreaking. It's very disappointing. In no way did I think going into the game we were gonna win. I think I've said that in a previous video. I didn't think we would win against Madrid, and but at home, when you put up a fight like that, to lose like that, it's so heartbreaking in any context.
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you're coming up against one of the best teams in the world, always Real Madrid. We know how good they are. We know that their players have been clicking lately. You know, at the beginning of the season, there was a couple of hiccups. Mbappe wasn't really rolling, but now he is, and you see it, you know, a little bit spoiler ahead, but, you know, he scores. He does has a pretty good game. Real Madrid has a good game plan against City at the end, but for the first, 60 minutes, we saw it was pretty back and forth.
It looked good. The first 60 minutes was all right. You know, after that, it kind of went downhill from City. Yeah. From the beginning, I mean, Jack Grealish in the lineup, a surprise. This guy, good 30 minutes. He had to come off after creating our first goal from Jack Grealish chipping the ball over to Gvardiol, landed off for Haaland to put it in the back of the net.
Honestly.
Gvardiol is that guy. I really do think that.
I think there's an argument to be made that he is the best left back in the world right now. There's definitely an argument. He's a solid top 5. I think easily you could put him in there. And I don't think you'd have any arguments really out of most people. Now, some non-ball knowers, maybe, but, you know, can't account for them.
The assist was good. The goal was good. Jack Grealish, though, like I said, unfortunately had to come off. Everybody else kind of the normal, the pick you'd kind of want. I mean, honestly, the two biggest surprises is John Stones in midfield. He had a really great game in midfield. I thought he played outstanding. Akanji at right back, another player who unfortunately had to come off at halftime. It's just disappointing to see that when you have that, he's our best defender in that scenario to be playing right back, right? We don't have Kyle Walker anymore, who also wasn't playing that well. So Akanji is the best we're gonna get.
And it really showed the kind of drop off that happens when you go from your basically second string right back, because Akanji is a center back. We know that about him, but he can cover the right back, but he isn't the guy that you really want there full time. So I would consider him kind of a backup right back. Yeah. Especially positionally. So him against Vinicius, it showed, and then when you drop down to basically your third string right back, it's gonna be tough. Enrico Lewis had a tough 45 minutes.
I thought Akanji played well in his time. He did all right. I think the whole defense played all right. I think Vinicius, other than his little nutmeg he had on Diaz and that little chance that Mbappe had that was saved. Other than that, though, I thought the whole first half we were fairly solid. There were some moments that they had that they didn't capitalize, but overall I think the defense played all right first half. I think they played all right.
Especially for their game plan. I mean, for the first 60 minutes, we saw City sit there and keep the ball. Yeah. They held possession. They did everything that they could to keep Real Madrid from going on those counterattacks. Everyone knows that they love to play. First 60 minutes did fantastic. Then a couple of subs happen, and
the second half we were down. You know, we go in. Jack Grealish, like I said, off. Akanji off, and now we have Rico Lewis and Phil Foden filling in. They tie it up in the 60th minute. First half, though, we go in with a 1-0 lead. I'm thinking, you know what? Hey, let's keep it going here. Yeah. By no means am I thinking we're going to win still, but let's keep it going here. Again, momentum was all right. First minutes into the second half, we had a shot. We had a good chance.
I mean, literally 45 seconds in, and it was like, oh, shit, they may just put it to bed here, but they can't convert. They can't finish.
We couldn't do it. We go on, 60th minute, they get a free kick, and just, you know, it's just poor set-piece defending, I guess. A little bit of luck for Real Madrid, too. I mean, it goes off of Mbappe's shin, goes into the back of the net, 1-0. you're thinking, okay, here we go. Like now it's time.
Floodgates
like
are opening right
shit's
now.
getting real now. Like Real Madrid are gonna start amping up, and they did a little bit of that. They started getting more into the game after that 60th minute, after that goal.
Yeah.
They really needed it, and they got it. They start moving forward. Unfortunately for them, though, we won a penalty. Controversial. Was it inside the box? Was it outside the box? Who really knows?
If it's my team, it's a pen.
Yeah, if it's my
That's
team, it's a
the
pen.
thing.
If it's not my team, it's outside the box. That's kind of how most people,
Pretty much.
I think,
let's
honestly
be honest with each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think that's how most people would feel. At the end of the day, though, it is a foul.
Yeah.
So, Foden goes down. Holland steps up, scores the penalty. Up 2-1. Thinking, okay, the pressure's off a little bit. We might,
it might happen. Even though
And
you
then
guys are
Pep
all
Guardiola,
defending
this
Champions
is-
League winners.
This is where I have frustration with Pep Guardiola. I mean, you have John Stones, who's having at least a 7 out of 10 game in midfield.
Maybe
at least a 7.
7
Like, honestly, having a good game in midfield. And then, yet again, we go and why Ake comes off. Unless it's for injury, which I don't know, it might be. And if that's the case, then everything I'm about to say is kind of null and void.
But there haven't been any reports of that.
To my knowledge, he's not injured. So Ake coming off, who I thought did all right, and putting Kovacic in midfield, man. And the Kovacic-Gundogan double pivot, man, it's not going to work against Madrid. It barely works in the
come
Prem.
on. We know you're watching.
It barely works in the Prem. Like, why are we doing that? That's what he does.
Too much pace and power.
And Rico Lewis getting exposed. Their second goal for Diaz to tie it up.
Yep.
Not celebrating. Respect that kid, I guess.
Even though he played 10 minutes for City.
Right. He goes. He scores.
I'd be taking my shirt off. I'd take the L. I don't care.
Ederson, dude. We're gonna get into Ederson now. Now is time. See, for the beginning of the video, I'm trying to be fair. Trying to give it, every player played their part. Every player played their part in this loss. There were certain moments for each player that we could point out and whatnot. But Champions League nights against Real Madrid,
can't do it.
Your goalie has to be on it. In any context, it doesn't matter what team you play for. It doesn't matter how good Real Madrid is or what players they have. And their back line is depleted as well. So we can keep that into context. We also don't have some of our best players. Obviously, Rodri. You know what I mean? So,
Hence the banner.
But besides that point, we having to put in that double pivot and then Ederson making these mistakes cannot happen. Ederson, the shot deflecting off of his shoulder. He got his hands down here like he's a fucking baseball catcher or something. Like, I don't understand it. The commentator's even pointing it out.
Yeah.
Hits off his shoulder, bounces back to Diaz. Diaz just smacks into the back of the net. And you're not going to save that. And so it's 2-2. And at this point, you're like, well, that was really all for fucking nothing. Let's try and hold on for a draw.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's try and get out of here with at least some hope.
Right.
To get a result.
Something.
Or at least go to penalties in the Bernabeu.
Something. You need something. You're at the Etihad. It's 2-2. We continue on, and it just pains me to say, man. Like, Kovacic tries a back heel volley in the air with one player behind him, and Vinicius Jr. coming up against you in the 90th minute, you're trying this. 90th minute.
I mean,
inexcusable. And you flick it back to Rico Lewis, who Rico Lewis absolutely blew the bag. Okay?
They both of them.
Oh, just the poor decision making in these moments. It's been our season, honestly, though. It's this the poor decision making in key moments. I mean, we saw before with Akanji in the first few seconds fucking doing back passes and shit, and now in the very last minutes we see back heel in the air volleys from our midfielders. For whatever fucking reason we do that, I don't understand. Poor decision making. Rico Lewis can't recover there. Absolutely was getting eaten up by Vinicius Jr. that whole second half. And I told Trevin, I told Trevin immediately, like, this
This is
gonna be it.
And then not even 30 seconds later, Vinicius runs through Rico Lewis, basically, gets the ball around him, gets to the byline, and puts in a beautiful cross for Mbappe. Misses, but still, within 30 seconds of him saying that, bam.
And then here we go.
Knew what was going to happen.
Here we go in the 92nd minute, and Jude Bellingham right there in the spot where he needs to be scores a goal. I mean, it's just poor decision making from the goalie, from the defenders, from the subs. The subs were abysmal. I think Pep is the reason we had a 2-1 lead. I think what we had, and then the decision making afterward, you could also put a lot of that on him too. But bringing Stones out of midfield, I think that is the biggest thing. That's what really bothers me with Pep. But at the same time, Pep didn't tell Kovacic to go jump in the air and do a back heel volley in the fucking air in the 92nd minute, right? Yeah. So and he doesn't make those decisions. He didn't ask Akanji to go get hurt, right? If Ake is hurt, he didn't ask for that, right? I don't assume that's what it is, but that is my biggest problem. That's where I put a lot of blame on Pep, is that decision. Seeing how well John Stones played, and yet you still changed that part of it, I didn't understand.
Even if you need Ake off, even if Ake is not doing what you need him to do, I would think that you leave that defensive stability there in John Stones, and then you bring Kosanov on, or you bring somebody on that can actually play the position that Akanji is not doing well enough. Yes, John Stones can do it, but then you have a hole there in midfield with Kovacic, because he has not been good this whole year. And last year, the last 18 months for Kovacic have been very, very tough. Given he's not been the guy for them anymore.
Given he's not being put in his right position.
Correct.
And he's being exposed, and then you try this double pivot with Gundogan, and it just doesn't work, bro. It just does not work. It does not work for a Pep Guardiola system to have those two guys in there. Overall, though, I had hope that we could get a draw at a lot of points in this game. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Decision making, again, story of our season, poor decision making. That's what it came down to. Overall, fucking pissed. We go to the Bernabeu, down 3-2. I don't think we're gonna be able to come back from it. I really don't. I didn't think we'd win the first leg. But honestly, there were points where I thought we could come away with something, but yet we couldn't do that. So going to the Bernabeu, I just don't see it.
We'll see what happens. We got the United Europa League coming up in a couple of weeks. They're kind of far out. We know you care about the A competition just as much as we do. We'll see if we make it.
Who do they got?
They don't have anybody yet. It depends.
When's the draw?
It's the playoff right now.
And when's the playoff?
It's. We'll let you know.